trying to pack a whole life into a movie is a kind of folly in a way. We don't do it when we make a fiction film.
Hey, James, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Dean.
Great. I got to see Clean Unknown last week. I thought it was really good. I guess just to start with, you've done a few biopics, some true story stuff before. Tell me a bit about the process of kind of taking what is essentially someone's entire lifetime and kind of boiling it down to a manageable 2 hours while still telling a coherent story.
Well, I'm not taking their whole lifetime. I mean, I think the key thing is to avoid that exact task. I never enter it thinking I'm trying to say something about their entire lifetime. I don't think a 3-act movie works for the idea of encompassing a lifetime, which usually is many stories or would be many movies, as it were, kind of movements of time. Trying to pack a whole life into a movie is a kind of folly in a way. We don't do it when we make a fiction film. We don't start at birth and end at death very often. The reality is that we tend to pick sometimes 24 hours in a person's life, 1 week in a person's life, a month in a person's life. And then suddenly when we're making a biographical film or a film based on historical reality, the temptation is to try to make it encompass everything because, of course, it all exists. We know what preceded and we know what followed. But that doesn't mean it should all be told in the one story because our lives, even our less significant lives, all break into chapters and have movements, as it were, of their own. It's really hard to try to reduce a person's whole life to, 2 hours and have any kind of thematic coherence to the whole thing.
Yeah. And I guess the reasoning for choosing this particular point in time with Bob Dylan is the whole Dylan Goes Electric. I feel like the through line there, it's him kind of changing folk music into something new.
It was more to me about this kind of first chapter in the life of Bob Dylan. In a way, it is a birth of Bob Dylan movie because he wasn't Bob Dylan until he got to New York in 1961. So it opens with a kind of man with no name, if you will, almost like a Western of a guy arriving in town with a new identity, a case containing a beaten up guitar and a few dollars and a notebook with some words scratched in it. And within years, he's going to be one of the most important artists of the 20th century before his 24th birthday.
And so what were some of the difficulties you faced in trying to pull that timeline together, that taking that from a man with no name to essentially one of the biggest names in the world?
Well, the beauty of the real life story is that it happened within 4 years. So it was really possible to, because it was so compact, even in real life, it really lent itself to the arrangement we were making.
Amazing. Look, I think that's all the time we have, James, but thank you so much for jumping on. I appreciate it.
No problem. I appreciate the smart questions. Thank you.
You have a great evening, or I guess it's the day where you are.
It's just beginning where we are, but nonetheless, I will do my best.